Today, I'm diving deep into the claims about Trump wanting to close the education department. Let's see if I can uncover the truth behind this controversial topic. During his presidency, Trump's stance on education policy was a topic of much debate and speculation. One of the most controversial claims surrounding his administration's approach to education is that he wanted to abolish the education department altogether. But is this really what he had in mind? The Education Department faced numerous challenges and controversies during Trump's administration. One of the most significant issues was the proposed funding cuts, which sparked widespread concern among educators and lawmakers alike. The administration's budget proposals consistently sought to reduce the department's funding, leading to fears about the impact on education programs and services. Furthermore, the department's leadership was marred by controversy, with several high-profile resignations and appointments that sparked criticism. Amidst this backdrop, Trump's own statements and actions regarding the department only added to the confusion. There were also reform efforts underway, with some arguing that the department was ineffective and in need of a major overhaul. The administration floated proposals to merge the Education Department with the Labor Department, sparking a heated debate about the future of education policy. Critics argued that this move would lead to a dilution of education's importance, while supporters saw it as a necessary step towards streamlining government services. Meanwhile, Trump's own rhetoric often seemed to contradict his administration's actions, leaving many wondering what his true intentions were. In addition to these reforms, Trump's public statements often led to controversy. He famously declared that he wanted to get rid of the Education Department, citing its supposed inefficiency. However, he later walked back these comments, saying he only wanted to reform the department, not eliminate it entirely. This flip-flopping only added to the confusion, leaving many to wonder what Trump's ultimate goal was. Despite these mixed signals, there were moments when Trump's stance on education seemed clear. In a major speech on education policy, he outlined his vision for a more decentralized approach to education, with greater power given to states and local authorities. This move was seen as a clear attempt to shift the education landscape, but it's worth noting that the devil was in the details, and Trump's administration never fully elaborated on how this would work in practice. In another significant move, Trump signed the bipartisan Every Student Succeeds Act, which aimed to give states more flexibility in implementing education policies. While this move was seen as a rare example of bipartisan cooperation, critics argued that it didn't go far enough in addressing the department's alleged inefficiencies. Amidst these competing narratives, it's tough to say whether Trump truly wanted to close the education department or simply reform it from within. Looking back on Trump's presidency, it's clear that his stance on education was marked by contradictions and controversy. While he proposed reforms and funding cuts, he also signed bipartisan legislation and walked back his most extreme statements. So did he really want to close the education department? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Trump likely wanted to shake up the education status quo, but the exact nature of his plans remains unclear. As we dive into the details, it's clear that this statement has the potential to affect millions of students, teachers, and families across the country. The statement has generated significant controversy, with many educators, parents, and policymakers expressing serious concerns. Some argue that Trump's words undermine the very foundation of public education, while others see them as a necessary step towards reform. The divide is deep, and it's essential to understand the different perspectives at play. For instance, many teachers' unions have come out strongly against the statement, calling it an attack on their profession and the education system as a whole. On the other hand, some conservative groups have praised Trump's statement, seeing it as a bold move to shake up a broken system. Other critics argue that the statement is a thinly veiled attempt to push a partisan agenda, one that benefits certain special interest groups at the expense of marginalized communities. They point to the statement's lack of concrete details and feasible solutions, saying it's more of a political stunt than a genuine effort to improve education. Moreover, experts warn that Trump's statement could have far-reaching consequences, such as widening the achievement gap and exacerbating existing inequalities in education. By examining the historical context of education policy, it's clear that this statement is not an isolated incident, but rather part of a larger trend. The statement has drawn parallels to previous administrations' education policies, with some arguing that it's a return to the controversial No Child Left Behind era. Others see it as a more subtle attempt to dismantle the Department of Education, echoing Reagan's efforts back in the 1980s. By taking a closer look at the similarities and differences between these policies, we can better understand the potential implications of Trump's statement. Furthermore, exploring the role of the Department of Education and its relationship with state governments can provide valuable insight into the potential consequences of this statement. One of the most significant reactions to Trump's statement came from the American Federation of Teachers, whose president called it an all-out assault on public education. This powerful condemnation highlights the deep-seated concerns many have about the direction of education policy. In contrast, some conservative media outlets have praised Trump's statement, saying it's a bold move towards education reform. The stark contrast in reactions underscores the highly polarized nature of this debate. Additionally, several education experts have weighed in, offering their analysis of the statement's potential effects on everything from standardized testing to teacher training programs. The backlash against Trump's statement has been fierce, with many calling it a thinly veiled attempt to gut the Department of Education. Others have praised his willingness to challenge the status quo, even if his methods are unorthodox. As we recap the main points discussed, it's clear that opinions on this statement are sharply divided. Some see it as a necessary step towards reform, while others view it as a dangerous attack on public education. The Department of Education has been a hot topic in today's political climate, and Trump's recent comments have sparked a firestorm of controversy. As we delve deeper into the complexities of educational policy, it's crucial to understand the significance of this debate. The Department of Education faces numerous challenges, including funding issues that have left many schools struggling to provide adequate resources for their students. Policy disagreements between lawmakers and educators have led to a stalemate in progressive reform, further exacerbating the problem. This has resulted in a disproportionate impact on students and teachers, who are often forced to navigate a flawed system. The funding crisis has also led to a shortage of quality educators, as many are deterred by the low pay and lack of resources. This, in turn, has created a vicious cycle of underqualified teachers and underperforming students. The Department of Education's inability to address these issues has resulted in a lack of faith in the system from both educators and the general public. Furthermore, the department's policies have been criticized for being overly bureaucratic, stifling innovation and creativity in the classroom. This has led to a call for a more decentralized approach, one that gives greater autonomy to individual schools and teachers. However, this approach has its own set of challenges, including the potential for unequal access to resources and varying quality of education across different regions. Despite these challenges, Trump's proposed changes to the Department of Education have been met with skepticism by many. His criticism of the department's current policies has sparked a heated debate, with some heralding his proposals as a much-needed overhaul of the system, while others view them as a threat to the very fabric of public education. One of Trump's most controversial proposals is the plan to redirect funding from public schools to charter schools and voucher programs. Proponents argue that this will increase competition and drive innovation, while critics claim it will only serve to exacerbate existing inequalities. Trump's assertion that the Department of Education has become a total disaster has also drawn ire from educators, who feel that the president is grossly oversimplifying the complexities of the issue. Trump's comments have also been met with resistance from the educational community, with many teachers and administrators speaking out against his proposed changes. The National Education Association has been vocal in its criticism, accusing the president of lacking a clear understanding of the issues facing the Department of Education. One of the most pivotal moments in Trump's discussion came when he cited a study claiming that the U.S. ranks 27th in the world in terms of educational achievement. While this statistic has been disputed by some, it highlights the sense of urgency surrounding the issue of education reform. The intensity of the debate has reached a fever pitch, with both sides digging in their heels and refusing to budge. In summary, Trump's comments on the Department of Education have sparked a heated debate, with both sides presenting valid arguments. While the challenges facing the department are undeniable, the proposed solutions are far from clear-cut. As we move forward, it's crucial that we continue to have an open and honest discussion about the future of education in the U.S. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts on Trump's comments in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about education policy, be sure to check out our video on the impact of charter schools on public education.